Assalamu alaikum, Sobia.
Walaikum assalam. How are you doing, Malik?
I'm doing wonderful. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. How are you?
We're in spring. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. I believe it. Are we here? Spring has arrived.
How's
Spring has arrived.
this transition stage been with you?
It's been wonderful. It's been good. It's been good. You know, the change in the weather impacts so much on how we feel and how we respond. So yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. It's been good. Alhamdulillah. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for the new opportunities this season will bring. I'm being excited about being more in the outdoors. And I'm just glad to be here having this talk.
Excellent, excellent. Likewise. Yeah, we were out in the park to family, so enjoying the outdoors. As you said, it is nice. It's nice. Brilliant.
I think everyone knows us now. We don't need to do an introduction.
Sobia Khan, serenity, soul, body and mind.
From Malik Coaching Academy. Yep,
Hey,
we got there.
we got there.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We've got an amazing talk today about finding love.
Wonderful talk set up. Please do share your comments or questions or suggestions in the box below, and I will try to pick up on them as we're going through.
So Malik, you want to start this?
Start it? Okay, yeah, good. Finding
I really
love.
want to know man's approach.
The man's approach. That's good. X and Y, as they say. X and Y. A lot of you have heard of that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And from a man's perspective, I'll be honest, I put it off for years saying, what are they talking about? What is it all about? It's a great book. I can't remember who the author is. I will try and find it. But Men Are From Mars and Women From Venus is a great book for all people, all cultures, all backgrounds, all beliefs. There's something in it for you that you can take away. Definition of love, finding love. And I think it really comes down to, as we say, it's about what you define it as. So I'm not going to say to you, this is what love is, but I'll say it's what you define your love as. What do you define love as? Once you have that definition of what love is, then you can start to find out about whether it be loving yourself, whether it be loving another, whether it be loving your purpose, that definition of love for yourself.
I love that. Spot on. And that's really important. We tend to feel as if we look at movies and we certain scenario relationships on Instagram, and we try and imitate that, have what they're having. But everyone's concept of what being in love is totally different. And I love that ending, purpose. So important.
Yeah. It is loving that purpose. I mean, a lot of times, this topic here, when we say finding, a lot of times, oh, we're breaking up. A lot of times when we say about love, instantly we got a technical problem here. One moment. Are we back now, Sobia? Am I back with you? Am I back with you, Sobia? Sorry about that. We had a technical crash there.
Yeah.
Okay. We're back now. We're live?
Yeah.
We're back live? Oh, wonderful.
The internet drop. We've got road workers working on our road. So I apologize. Yes. So intermittent. Okay, I'll carry on.
The purpose, I think, number one thing, I know it sounds a bit clinical, and I know it sounds too serious, and I know it sounds a little bit too dogmatic, but when you say to people, there must be a purpose for that love, whether it be loving another, whether it be loving yourself or loving a relationship, could be a relationship with your partner, relationship with your children, relationship with family. has to be a purpose to what that love is. And it comes back to something we've touched on so many times: intention.
Yeah.
Intention.
And that's very important, because intent actually give you an idea what you're actually looking for in that relationship, and that what type of connection do you want to build with another person or yourself. So totally agree with you.
It's massive, because if you look at, I was just checking out some statistics, and although statistics can be, you could look at statistics and say they're judgmental, but across the board, looking at a few statistics, and this is quite shocking news, but 50% of marriages don't work. 50% of marriages don't work. And then we look at other statistics where they say that of those marriages that don't work, we say that the highest impact comes to children between the ages of 16 to 24, where they end up having mental health problems due to a relationship at home, not being able to handle a relationship. And there's many different strings you can pull on and say that reasons to this, but 16, 24-year-olds are really hardly impact mental health. And then you look at the fact that you go back, and I won't give you all the answers because I don't know, but I'll just touch on a few points which I've read, and you come back and you say, did those relationships have any basis of what that love or what that marriage is about? And you go back and you say to yourselves, where were we taught love? We can't blame people, but where were we taught love? Were we taught how to love, or what love is, or the purpose of love in a relationship? And a lot of times you come back and you say, there wasn't any teaching, there wasn't any guidance.
And touching on that point, I do a lot of inner child work with my clients. And when we go back to the deep roots of building up relationships, the pinnacle moment is the love from your parents, of what their actions are. Are they filling up your emotional cup? Hence, then you know how to fill up your own emotional cup. And I find nowadays we rush to be in a relationship. We don't think it through. We do not have a good relationship with ourselves. However, we expect somebody unknown to us to actually fill up that gap. I think that's a wrong footing to actually start up a relationship. You need to be in a happy place yourself. You need to be content in who you are. And because your journey through your life is with yourself first. So relationship, know who you are, know what your likes and dislikes are. You tend to find that, especially in the Asian community, and I hate using the word Asian community in regards to this, but a lot of our families are enmeshed, where we're so involved together. And, you find that the girls, they do not understand who they are, because they take on what their parents like or their siblings like. Then they take on whatever their husbands like or the in-laws like. They have no true identity of their own true self. So anyone who hopefully will be embarking a relationship, it's a beautiful relationship and connection to have with someone, to go through your life with a partner. But do take some time out, heal your past traumas. Don't start a relationship with so much emotional baggage, and start a relationship on setting out your intentions clearly, what you both want out of this, picking up on the energy vibes. Is this guy in tune with your energy? And most importantly, listen to your gut. If your gut is saying no, not feeling right here, it's trying to tell you something. Your body is telling you. So listen to it.
I think, you touched on a big part there, and there, as you say, within the community, again, not blaming people, but in the communities, in many communities, you find that essential teaching, which was from Asian community, African communities, African Caribbean communities, you find that even in British society, people were taught how to love. It wasn't embarrassing being taught how to love. So how to love your other, whether it be men going through men's rights, or women going through women's rights, or being taught how to love the other. And what we find now, because we look at them, we say that's backwards. We find now that those backwards people are making progress with holding on to a relationship. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they're holding on to relationships and making relationships work. And they've got some sort of guidance that they've had to get them through it. Whereas nowadays, you find that many of it is the reverse, where we want to just take only the good bits. So I relationship where, if I'm going to stereotype now, so forgive me everyone, but you say to a woman, or you say to a man, what are you looking for? She must be attractive. She must be obedient. She must be having her own ideas. She must be willing to listen to me. She must be willing to do everything I say. And you're like, whoa. And then you say to the woman, you say, what do you want? He must be tall. He must earn more money. He must be caring, loving, and dedicated. You're like, whoa. And if you look at our parents or look in our backgrounds, and you find that many of them, where we look at our parents, my parents, your parents, we look back, they didn't have all the money. They weren't so tall. Well, they might have been tall, but they weren't the dazzling look or whatever, or that lasted just for wedding day. They have to grow. So what were they looking for? Compatibility. And I say this, and it is hard, but when you look at compatibility, you look outside of our family relationships. So you look at outside of our immediate family. And if you look at your friends, or look at the people that are really sincere around you, they may not be tall. They may not have all the money, or they may have the money and they're generous. They may not have all the looks that are stereotypical looks or whatever, but they're the ones that really you're attracted to because they support you. They support you. So maybe if your partner had those qualities or has those qualities, you find that relationships work. Many of our best friends around us, best family friends, supportive friends, they don't all look like Nollywood and Bollywood and Hollywood. They look like human beings. So we start to look at the qualities of people as opposed to the features of people, which is really, really hard, really hard.
And that's so important, physical attributes. Yeah, it plays a part, because you need to be attracted to somebody to embark such a relationship. However, you really have to get to know that person skin deep. And, and what else is really important is actually even looking at your own love language. Find what that love language is. How are you as a person? What can you bring into this relationship? And also work out what the other person's love. What are their strengths and weaknesses? And, in the fields that we're both in, whether people are coming to us with whatever blockages they have, work or health issues, we tend to find things also stem down to relationships. And that's huge. It's such a
massive.
huge impact.
Massive, so you're right. And this, I when I'm coaching, a lot of times I say to people that, and across the board, when I'm coaching, I say there's three things: mental, physical, and spiritual. And if somebody's not alive in any of those three areas, it's a no-go area. I say, you've got to wait until somebody's engaged in their mental, physical, and spiritual. Doesn't mean they're perfect, professor in each field, but they've got to be alive, switched on to those, and then we can start to grow. Because we find that if somebody's mentally alert or somebody's mentally aware, and someone's physically active, not to say they're super fit, just physically active, keeping themselves active, and then we find that they're spiritually engaged and connected, we're going to have room for development and growth, and you're going to see activity, because those things enable you to grow. Your spirituality, your physical, your mental, it grows from the actions of what you believe, and your relationship's going to grow from that. But whereas it's just to act, you find many people, you meet a partner, and I'm not saying there's not one route. I'm not saying to everyone there's only one route, but there's signs. And you find many people become spiritual just to marry a partner.
Yeah. Or
they suddenly embrace a belief just to marry a partner. And while that might seem nice, it's not genuine enough. It's not genuine. And this is where, again, you find uncles and aunts and everyone saying, no. And we're saying, please. We're just trying to avoid the pitfalls that may come. So you say, find those people, like we say again, find the person. If you're looking for love for a partner, look at your close friends. Don't look at what you see on the outside of what somebody is. Look at your close friends, and those qualities you find are the qualities that we're going to sustain, because you've kept your close friends, regardless of how their physical part is, or how you're looking at how they are as a person, the characteristics, their internal being.
Love it, Malik, and totally agree. It's amazing to see how finding a partner is such a big step in the road. But you're finding, I understand with the pandemic, It's been thrust upon us. I feel sorry for nowadays anyone finding a partner, because the routes are all via online, and there's not that many social places to actually visit and find places. But I would actually say start aligning your energy to the things that you like. Start joining. Now everything's opening up. Start getting hobbies, join groups, and things that get you out though, because the world's huge out there. And what you see face to face is very different to what you see on Zoom.
Massive, spot on. You said it there. Get out, and that means getting out and just mixing with others, and mixing and involving yourself with others with different activities, and try and do things which take you out of your comfort zone. You may meet someone who's, if you're looking for a partner, you may meet someone who you've been to, just, I don't know, it could be you went horse riding, or you went to just a day spa, whatever. You met a friend, or you met a new friend, and suddenly that friend introduced you to a new circle of friends, you know. But whereas you're going to the same things, as Einstein says, you do the same thing every day and expect a different result. It doesn't happen. And that's like a relationship. People get bored in a relationship because, for couples that are in a relationship, because you find that they're doing the same things all the time. There's no news, variety to it, no spice to it. So suddenly people start to look out when they should be looking at how can we change things within our relationship, which is very important, very important.
And you know, I love that. I mean, I love that so much in regards to, we have to make the move. We have to join groups. A lot of people nowadays are still highly dependent on parents making that choices. However, yes, to a certain extent, parents' involvement should be there. However, you're the one actually living with the person, so you have to be active in getting to know the person, being proactive, having these conversations, having difficult conversations. Normally when I speak to women, I'm like, if you could give me one marriage advice, what would you say? And they'll say, read the nikah nama. And that's so true. That's a marriage contract. Read it. And this is something which is available to us, but we don't take heed. And yes, we as women, I find that we have information overload on what are your rights as a woman, but also find out what are the rights of a man. Discuss that before marriage, you know, just so that you're on an equal page and that communication is out there.
I think, as you said, there's, you know, the word I'm going to pull out is equality. And when we find, you know, we believe in equality, justice, love, respect for all. With those words, it doesn't mean that it's a 50-50 balance. People say, well, I done my bit, she does her bit. These things are going to vary in a relationship. They're going to vary. So there's things that you will do as a man and things that she could do as a woman. But as you said there again, communication. If we don't communicate, we don't know where we are on the page. So we have to communicate with each other. And I'm not saying to aim low. As Les Brown says, you know, no one rises to low expectations, but have some aim of where you want to go. You may not achieve it, but have some aims and be willing to start low. So I look at many successful marriages. Again, I look at from the elders, they didn't have much. They didn't have access to everything. What they did have was each other.
Yeah.
And you look and you say to yourself, okay, make sure you've got each other's backs. You know, make sure you've got each other. There'll be tough times. There'll be testing times. But make sure you've got each other, because when you've got each other, then you can start to grow. Doesn't mean you're doing the same thing. Doesn't mean you agree on the same things. But when you know that you've got each other, then you find that you can start to grow and be willing to grow. Again, I go back to what I said earlier. The demands, people say, he must have a nice house. He must have more money. He must be 6 foot tall. He must be dark, tall, and this, that, and the other. You know, all light or whatever. You know, see people, all these demands. And then again, go back to the male perspective. She must be sweet, sexy, attractive, beautiful, have a mind, but be willing to listen to me and do what I say. You're like, hey, where are we going? You know, so you're saying, be willing to talk to each other, be willing to grow. And you'll find that from the ground roots, you can be the 50%, because those are statistics. I didn't make it up. Statistics are 50% of marriages do not work. They don't work. So then we have children, we have teenagers, we have people saying, why bother? And as you said, Sobia, journey of life with another person, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And it's interesting. I was having a conversation about this with a lovely lady called Atia, and she was telling me people nowadays compromise too quickly in a relationship. And when the time it is for them to actually compromise, they're so tired because they've been compromising throughout their whole marriage. So only compromise when you actually need to compromise. And that hit a nail because it's so true. We tend to lay everything out in the beginning, and especially with our unrealistic expectations. Huge.
I'm going to drop something which I know it may turn some people off, but as I say, my logo is my mantra is real talk, real experiences, real success. And I'll say something which I know it may turn some people off, but remember the statistics say 50% marriages don't work. The number one thing, the key thing that you must do, I'm not going to wither in it, put God first.
Yeah.
Put God first. If God is not first, Allah is not present. If you're not Muslim, God is not first. If that is not present, what you're going to find is that you're going to be subject to whatever he says or subject to whatever she says. When we put God first, then you find that we can follow that path, and we can say that's where our barometer is. When we haven't got that as the barometer, what you find is I'm the man, or I'm the woman, or I earn more money, or I have a stronger clan than you, or I'm from a higher caste or higher whatever. When we put this first, I know some people are going to switch off and go, but it's real talk. If you don't put God first, then don't put God second or third and expect things to work. Full stop, period. Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
I love that. I totally love that. And you always tend to find when you open yourself to Allah, to God, you're on a different energy vibe. You're setting out love, and you attract the love that you're actually giving out. And that's so important. We get all these... Go on.
Go, Sobia, I cut you. Go, Sobia, I cut you.
We get into extremities of love, and we find that that's where the mismatch is. Somebody might be coming into a relationship with so much love to give. Some might have just been given a little bit growing up, and we tend to find that there's huge blocks. But then when we submit ourselves, when we just submit to Allah, we find everything else just falls into place.
Falls into place, into the correct place.
Mm. Am I cutting out again, Malik?
I got you back. Got you back now. It falls into place. You were saying, Sobia.
Yeah, it just falls into place.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing that everything happens in the right. Got you back now, Sobia. Got you back now.
I'm not touching my phone now.
It's amazing because you look and you say to yourself, you say so many times. I mean, I do a small amount of coaching for couples and or relationships, and I remember in my early days of giving advice to people, and I go back to what I said about putting God first, and I would seek advice from more experienced people than me. And a couple came to me, they were talking about breaking up and X, Y, Z, and it was unfortunate. And my response was, okay, then they're going to have to work out how to get rid of each other, move on. And when I spoke to somebody for advice, because you seek advice if you don't know something well enough. And I was very, very new into it. And I remember speaking to an elder, and he said to me, I explained the woman's situation she was in. And he said, well, she's not under physical duress. She's not being physically attacked or oppressed in the home. She's not being verbally oppressed in the home. All the bills are being paid in the house. All the children are looked after. She's looked after. And he's not stopping her from worshiping God. So it's a disagreement amongst the two, but not a physical or mental disagreement. And he said, no, I recommend they stay together. And I said, wow, look at that. She said that they're just not getting along. And he said, yeah, it happens. People don't get along. But there wasn't physical or verbal abuse. So keep going. And the couple are still together. And they've worked through that period of down, period, alhamdulillah. So you say to yourself, it isn't always just, because that as well, as you said, people are quick to jump. I'll jump out of this relationship. and maybe I'll do it on my own, or I'll jump into a new relationship without having the proper moments to stop and reflect and see what is the purpose, what are you looking for.
You know, I totally agree with that. And you know, what I tend to also advise clients, I get a lot of clients that come to me with issues with the back. And it's like, what's the issue there? There's a lot of responsibility. And I always tend to find it's never too late to discuss roles and responsibilities in a family. And dynamics always change. And, you know, with the pandemic and with redundancies and things like that, there's been a lot of role reversal. But with that, well, we adapt to the changes, and our body is very adaptable. And when I find that clients are coming to me with backaches, huge backache, shoulder responsibilities, we have to actually tune into our bodies and actually say, well, actually, it's our body's not in alignment right now. It's affecting us. It's taking its toll. Yes. And again, it comes back to clear communication.
Clear communication. Finding love has to be with a clear plan. That doesn't mean it's going to work clearly, but if you plan for nothing, you're bound to get nothing. If you plan for something, you'll probably get what you plan for, or you'll get something, but you must have a plan. And most of the time people don't have a plan. And yes, whilst 1 in 2 people might be lucky, you don't want to be the 1 in 2 that's not lucky. So you'll say to yourself, I have to try and look for how best to make it work. Sometimes people have their expectations so high for what they want. You know, I was listening to somebody who again is saying about, and I'm not saying aim low, aim high, aim for the best, but be realistic, using the SWOT measurement, you know, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Look at that guide of what it is, and you say to yourself, you know, the physical, let's be honest, everybody loves beauty. Whether you look at a plant and you want to see beauty in a plant, you look at a picture, you look at the outside world, just look at someone doing a beautiful act. But when you place that into priority above others, you're going to find that finding what you're looking for, if you're looking for beauty as it is, there's a joke, or not joke, but like a quote that goes around, which says that somebody was looking for beauty and they went to the first stage of paradise, and they said, this one's good looking, but you can have better if you go to the next. And they said, I'll go higher. And it keeps going up and up until they get to about 7 levels, and eventually it gets to the place where you say, we've got no one for you, because you keep demanding more and more and more, and eventually you've got nothing left. So have that barrier, put a barrier where you say, this is what I'm looking for, and then you'll find that as you set that barrier, not too high and not too low, you find that you'll get to have that relationship you're looking for, where you become the 50% of the people who are successful. And think a bit about not just you.
Yeah. And you know, on the flip side, like you find those people who are very selfish and very needy with their needs. They can't actually see what their partners want. And what's interesting is, I always advise everyone, before getting married, seek namaz istikhara. It's very important. It helps with your akhirah. But when a relationship then fails, and they'll be like, oh, but my namaz istikhara told me to do this. But it's like, number one, did you seek counsel? Did you is your intention set? Are you making the efforts to find out about the family, and so and so? And if those 3 things are met, then maybe you were meant to go through this trial. And at the end of the day, end of a relationship is not the end of the world. And we forget that.
Yes.
We invest so much emotionally that we tend to forget that it is not the end. Life still goes on, day to night. We're still doing our routine. Life might have stopped for you, but you just have to sit with those feelings and get up and get out of the door next day.
There's a great African saying which says, if you've got another breath, you've got another chance. And there's another saying that says, if you're still breathing, God wants you to be here. You know, so you say to yourself, it will be a challenge. It will be a challenge, but we have to constantly keep trying to challenge ourselves and push ourselves and to grow. You find that relationships that are doomed for failure, I find a lot of times when I ask people about what they're looking for, just like careers, when I say to people, what are you looking for? What's your skill set? I'm honest, hardworking, committed. And I say, boring. Next. And they say, yeah, but I'm honest. I say, but everyone's honest. Tell us about you. What is it about you that really people are going to be able to say, that's the person, that's who she is, that's who he is. Find out who you are, have a blueprint of who you are. And if you haven't got one, try and develop one for who you are. And then you'll find that as you're looking for that person, you'll find that suddenly you'll be the person who'll be able to say, well, I know what qualities I'm looking for. I know what qualities, as you said to me, that I bring to the table. Because it's about what do you bring and what can you now marry with. You know, be realistic, be realistic, be realistic.
And, you know, we also have to look at, just keep on being the best version of yourself. We have to look at every day, you know, don't just go into the routine of life. Make things exciting. Go and explore new. Whenever we explore new things together, we grow, and through exploration, growth always happens. We tend to find after a couple of years, literally, like sometimes I find that a few clients just come to me and they come with their husbands, and they just touch base, and it's like, okay, well, you know, what are you here for? But it's like, oh no, we're doing a check-in with our lives to see where we are now, and we just want to see where we are for the next couple of years. And I actually like that idea. I actually think, you know, that's all encouraging.
Yeah. No, I fully say that is. If you've gone there, you're back. Got you there. Yeah. No, that is a check-in. Whether it be you have an external person to check in, whether it be yourself to check, whether you check in with each other, a check-in is so important. And personally, you know, I love that because we do that ourselves, and we check in every couple of years. We check and say, well, where we at, where we going, because it is a tough conversation. It is a tough conversation. It's a purposeful conversation that needs to be had. Sometimes also we've had it with couples, or we sit down and check in and do it on a very close couple. And we check on each other to see where we're going, what we're aiming for, or what we're doing. Because it is, if we don't check on what's been done, you know, things that are recorded can be improved, as they say. You know, if things are recorded and noted, we can now say, well, we're here. Let's aim for X, or let's try and achieve. Doesn't mean you're always going to get it, but as long as you've got aims, people get up for ambition. People get up because you've got drive. Whether you achieve it or not is another story, but we get up with that ambition to make things work. You know, many relationships that have been through tests and troubles are sometimes the best relationship, because, you know, smooth sailing doesn't make a good pilot, as they say.
And another thing is, like, Malik, we always find that coming from the fields we're in, we have to indicate to people to even just remove the ego from any connection, from any relationship. Just remove the ego.
Yeah. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to do. Yeah. That's a challenging one. You know, that's almost like chopping a part of the body off, because it's so hard, because people are like, all of us human beings, we're not excluded. You know, it's when you look at really taking your ego down and saying, well, let me bring myself down to humanity, because we do. You talk about we talk about relationships, and we say to ourselves, I am this, and this I is that ego. You know, I deserve more, I deserve better. You know, well, great. What, you know, that you say to yourself, you deserve better. How is it that you're going to provide better for the other half? Or how is it you're going to provide better for the children? How is it you're going to provide better for the community? Because we look at things so many narrow-minded about just me. It's just me. But when you look at it, say, well, there's a marriage where you're a role model to your children. You're a marriage where you're a role model to the community. You're a marriage, and it may be that in the community, remember, as we said, half of the marriages don't work. So you're the role model to only 50%. You've still got to keep going. It's easy to join this camp and say, well, it doesn't work, so I'll just give up. Or this works, but it's quite challenging. Easy come, easy go. Easy come, easy go. Work hard for it, and it tends to stay.
And I agree with that totally. And, you know, my train of thought's gone. But what another thing I always say to people is, you know, visualize the relationship you want. Visualize how you want to be in that relationship. Visualize what feeling in love actually is. Sit in with the emotions. What's love to you? Sit in with the type of partner that you want, because you will notice that the energy you're sending out, it will be picked up on, and you will notice, am I working towards something? You're giving yourself a goal, you're giving yourself a target. Recheck in and then reflect. Just reflect where you are. And with marriage, you know, we get, I tend to find a lot of stubbornness, and I find that in myself. I find, looking at myself, I was so stubborn in so many different ways. But however, if like my husband said anything to me, well, no, that's not the case. But what's interesting is you do have to sit down and reflect on your own actions and behaviors.
I'm going to challenge you, Sobia, on that, because, and it's not just, but I'm going to challenge you on the stubbornness, because I always say, and I know you, but I challenge you because, is it a case of being selfish? And I say again, with the selfishness, people take selfishness as being negative. I take selfishness as being positive. You're selfish in that you want good. I'm not going to challenge, I'm not going to change, you're not going to change yourself to accept your good as being lower. This is what I demand as good. So you want to rise to that good. So be selfish with it. I always say people, be selfish with being good. Be selfish with high expectations. Be selfish with no, I'm not going to expect lower. And we're not talking about make or brands. We're talking about quality of life. I'm being selfish if I want the best. I want your best effort. And that's you. Yes. You've always wanted the best effort for people. And I know that because you've done that with me over the past 2 decades plus, where you've pushed for me to be better. So it is about being selfish. And I say in the positive way of being selfish. You know, people might, you said it's stubbornness, and I challenge you, it's not stubbornness, it's selfishness, that we want good. And those are the people, again, you want in your circle. That's why we are in our circle, because we want good for each other. So keep those people in your circle that challenge you to always want better for yourself. Always want better for yourself, you know, to push that stubbornness, that selfishness, keep it. It's like anger. I say people, use that anger as a fuel. Don't lose it and say, oh, I better not be angry. No, get that anger and say, what is it I need to change? As Sobia said, the ego, change your ego. Use it to now fuel you. The relationship's not working. Use that anger to make the relationship work. Use it to try something different. Use it to pick up on something. A lot of times those negative words that we think are negative, just flip them. As Sobia said on the visualization, and say, well, how can I now turn this into looking at it from another perspective? Still the same word, but use it to look at it from another perspective.
That's amazing. I just feel as if I've gone through therapy coaching session here.
bless.
Absolutely love it.
It's nice. No, it is. I would say just things to take away. My points, and again, you don't have to agree with everything we say. We're not the only, we're not the chiefs of this topic, but we say we are leading the conversation here. But for me, I say people, the number one thing I say is find God. You know, whatever your belief is, find God, Allah. Find your creator, and find your connection with the creation, because that's the person, that's the creator, that's who you're going to connect with. That's going to be able to set the parameters of where we're going. If your relationship's strong or weak, find it. I'm not saying about how strong or weak you have to be, but find that relationship there.
And when you have a purpose, you have a direction.
You have a direction. And then look for the circle of people you're with and look at them. And if you can find in those people that you trust in your circle, what you'll find is, you'll find that the qualities of the people, the qualities, why are you friends with me? Why are you friends with Sobia? Why are you connected with those people? The qualities that you look, and you find those people, look for those qualities in the partner that you're looking for, and you'll find that it will last. Because I'm sure, and I say it, me and Sobia may not be the person that you are the person you're looking for, but the quality you're looking for that in the person.
Definitely. So true. And, you know, I would always say any relationship in your life, you have to work at it. You know,
Cool.
You need to build up that excitement in yourself. You need to know your purpose, know your true self, love your creator. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But also set your intentions right and work it every day. Just be adaptable. Don't get stuck in a one route direction. Keep changing your direction. Learn, explore. Life is amazing if you want to see it on a positive angle. If we dwell too much in our problems, we have solutions when we're looking negatively.
No, it is. It is. And another part to add, I'll just add one part. So enjoy the fights, enjoy the arguments, find it romantic. We love having those fights. You know, you look at those fights, and I know certain little things will annoy my wife when I do certain things. Do I do it on purpose? No. You say, because you know that these things will enjoy. It makes a bit more spice. You know, enjoy it. Play some games, you know, and have fun with it. And then make up, however you choose to make up.
Definitely. And that's so important. It's not the end of the world. Work at it, you know, enjoy it. Allah's put this relationship in our lives to create ease and comfort for us as well.
Yes. Beautiful.
I really enjoyed this talk, Malik.
It's been much better than what we planned for. Yes, it has been really good. I put a lot of thought of planning to it, but it's been excellent. I've really enjoyed it too.
Jazakallah khair, Malik. Jazakallah khair, everyone who's going to be watching this, catching up with it. And next week we've got the letter G, so keep on bringing in your ideas. And can't wait to hear from you guys.
Thank you everyone for listening in to our A to Z talk, and thank you for also inspiring us. May God bless you, may Allah bless you in all your endeavors, and share the talks with those that it may be of benefit to. Sobia, Jazakallah khair, big thanks to you. Rise up.
Jazakallah khair, Malik. And you know, we've got a young viewer, 16 years old, and he's always saying enjoying our banter. So I'm kind of like,
I missed that, Sobia. Sorry, say that again. I missed that, Sobia.
16-year-old viewer. Can you hear me?
Missed you there, Sobia. Go.
The connection gone?
Again. I got you back now.
Oh,
I
sorry.
can hear you.
I said we've got a 16-year-old viewer who's been catching up with the whole series.
Bravo.
I think it's my connection. So we'll end it up here. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair, Malik, and inshallah, hope to see you next week.
Excellent. Jazakallah khair. Rise up. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam.